Welcome back. This is still the POLITY on KAFTAN television, and I am still being joined by Nahum, Kenneth, Daso from Maiduguri. Can you hear me, Nahum?
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon, Mercy.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. All right, talk to us about the current development regarding the bombing in Gwoza community.
Well, it's quite unfortunate to this desperation cause of the chaotic attack that happened on Saturday when we had multiple explosions in Gwoza town, Borno State. It's quite unfortunate that in 7 years we've not recorded such incidences here in Borno State. But however, the current situation on ground is that currently, as we speak, in Gwoza town, there is enough deployment of security personnel, and the town remains relatively calm as there have not been any further incidences despite the recent one that happened on Saturday.
All right. Let me take you back a bit. Local communities have been more vulnerable to this attack, and reports show that the women who were used to carry this attack came in from Boko and Mandala mountains precisely. It is also recorded that one was designated during the investigation. This is not the first time this havoc is happening. Speak to us about the security situation in Gwoza community.
Well, it's quite unfortunate to have these women, the vulnerable women, to become tools and pawns by these insurgents in perpetrating different crimes and made allegations of drugging them or persuading them into this terror act. It's quite unfortunate, but nevertheless, the security architecture of Gwoza itself comprises of both all security state actors. Speaking of the military, who are the theater of the operation, frontlining in terms of insurgency in the operation Hadinkai, where we are having a harness coming together of all security agencies in mitigating such type of activities in the northeast region. We know Borno State on its own as the epicenter of the insurgency Boko Haram terrorists had suffered a lot in previous years. But currently, we enjoyed some period of time of seamless attacks where we've not recorded any incidents, not to this unfortunate one. So nevertheless, though, I would say the security current situation is that they have been in position of curfew and adequate deployment to mitigate such crime and prevent it as proactive measures not to happen anymore again.
Oh, well, it's quite unfortunate, I must confess. But according to available reports, Mandala Mountain has been one of the breeding ground for Boko Haram in Gwoza community. I am sure you are aware of that. What is the state government doing in that regard? Or could this be perceived as a political will or threat?
In quite for a period of time, we've came to understand that the Boko Haram or whatever terrorists, they've not had the power, the capacity to coordinate coordinated attack. It has been isolated. We understand that part of their rudiment of what they do is that they announce their presence through desperation and causing of chaos and havoc and panic amongst citizens. But however, the Borno State government, in its interest, when we talk of political will, in its interest, has a 25 years development plan and a 10-year strategic plan in which it cross across security and other socio-economical development to foster for the development of the state. And still, nevertheless, there have been immense intervention by international organizations who have also fostered to see that these community people who have been displaced are being returned back to their ancestral home. So there's no form of threat that will feel threatened in a way or lack of political will. So they have been supported by both the state and the non-state actors.
All right, that's a good effort from the state government. But let me ask this: in that regard, to the community where this Boko Haram has resided and been breeding over time, has it been totally eradicated?
Now we're having in the Lake Chad region. We know it has been a joint effort for the multinational joint task force MNJTF, and we've had so many reports which have shown that particular insurgents are converging in various locations around the Lake Chad region. So, but the pressure and the force that we've recorded so far, before the incidents that had happened, we've seen when the multinational joint task force have taken up good fight against these insurgents by destroying, and we've heard of reports that over 200 ISWAP and Boko Haram terrorists were killed during an operation attack. So during this in this particular Mandala Mountain that we know it's a very large scale landmass, which is about 80 kilometers or there away from Gwoza town. It's at roughly like 2 hours drive away when you're using a motorcycle or a vehicle. We know it's closer to the community. But whereas efforts of this security is to liaise with both other countries that are within the Lake Chad region to see on how we can harness in fighting against these terrorists.
Now, it's been since 2009, about 15 years, that Borno State has suffered a large number of insecurity, insurgents, and Boko Haram. To that particular area, Gwoza community particularly, how strong is the security force or security bodies that has been deployed to take care of that community? How strong is it?
Right before the attack, the security strength has been so strong enough. The men have maintained their threshold. If we record in the year 2024, 2015, where we've had incidences when Gwoza town was run and taken over by these insurgents. But now we are having the security force who have taken over back our ancestral land, back to the communities, and still maintain the holds. And currently, other efforts, I'll speak for the police to be very careful. We've seen right now that concerns have been drawn in that area where the Inspector General of Police has deployed additional explosive ordnance disposal personnel who are going to assist and adding up to the strength of the existing experts when it comes to bomb disposal, and together with tactical equipment to help them take care of such type of incidences over there. So there's quite a very good number of personnel well drawn from the theater of operation, and the VSOs too. We're talking of the volunteer security organization and the hybrid are also augmenting the strength of the security personnel who are in Gwoza community entirely.
Okay, let's talk about the repentant Boko Haram situation. What happens to them when they are integrated back to the society? In other words, do you do a rehabilitation program, or are they being monitored in any way at all? I mean, the repentant Boko Haram.
Speaking on the repentant Boko Haram, I would say it is part of the strategic plan to fight this and combat this insurgency and terrorism. It is a very commendable effort, which has been the successes that we've enjoyed in the relatively peace that we've had in the past few years. So this method is the Borno model, the non-kinetic, where we are having 25% going to the kinetic and 75% to the non-kinetic. So in this approach, we know that we are having violence extremists, and eradicating such type of violent extremists takes time, and it takes a lot of processes in radicalizing them for what their ideology and belief used to be. So bringing them up to the community, the process is something that has been very successful, and I would say over hundreds of thousands of Boko Haram have repented. So we encourage them to
let me come in. You said over hundreds and thousands. Can you give us a figure?
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000.
Over 100. Yes.
Okay.
Over 100,000 repented Boko Haram have been reintegrated back to the society with the triple R of rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reintegration. So it has been successful in the state and has helped in the fight against the terrorism. We're looking for is just more of like the sugar cane and stick approach, where we encourage them to drop down their arms and embrace peace in the society.
All right. Regarding the high level of insecurity in Borno State, and the current incident has claimed lives of many and number of casualties recorded, can we say that the state government saw this coming? Because we all know, and for the Borno State government, they've known that this particular community, Gwoza, is the breeding ground for the Boko Haram. So with this current incident that happened, can we just say it just happened, or did the state government or security bodies saw it coming?
It's quite unfortunate that the whole thing came as a shock to everybody. It's not, we say these are part of the sleeping cells who decided to wake up, but not attributing it to say if we saw it coming or we did not see it coming. We work on intelligence, credible information we get and we convert them to become intelligence. But where I would say is that this intelligence sometimes we get them on time and sometimes we don't get them on time. So it is quite the maintaining the threshold means that we are always steadfast in our fight against this insurgent. So we wouldn't say we were focused on sending them away from the town, not knowing that nevertheless there were still people that have infiltrated in between. So it's quite unfortunate, and I would say it's disheartening. But nevertheless, it's a clarion call for us to step up to our own gain and grounds on how much we treat this terrorist attack. Just like I earlier stated, for over 7 years, we've not recorded any attack in Gwoza community, and quite unfortunate, this incidents that we have recorded it's a big one on us. So we are shouldering it on the responsibility of becoming more active and more proactive in our means, and rather than being reactive.
And now, in less than 48 hours that this incident has happened, what has the security body been doing, particularly in that community and Borno State as a whole? Has there been any form of sensitization?
Yes, there have been different form of. Currently, as we speak to you right now, part of the explosive ordnance disposal personnel. What we are doing right now is that we are sensitizing people to understand on the rudiment of how this insurgency could still be hibernating in between society and communities. And we've also encouraged them to know that the various items that could be used as improvised explosive device, that is the IED, and also lecture them about avoiding crowded, getting choked up in different places, social gatherings and all, and through other initiative of community policing, breaking the conspiracy of silence and exposing the evildoers in our society. So we've encouraged them to speak up to us whenever there is any suspicious activities in their domain. You could see that part of the reports that we had is that one of the female suicide bomber that was used, she even asked part of the community people of where she was heading to and asking for directions and all. So these are where the community people may come in assisting the police in timely reports, where you know that there are suspicious activities like this. It is timely you report early. So these are areas that we've been reaching out to the community to encourage them to participate in this community policing model as enablers to help us achieve the whole goal of safer and secure environment for all of us.
All right. We heard Mr. President say perpetrators of this act must be brought to book, and the state government have also done theirs by taking up the medical bills and relief material. But my question is this: Borno State has recorded the highest number of insurgency, like I earlier said, for the past 15 years. Now, what is the way forward?
The way forward is the community partnership, like I earlier stated, where we are going to harness with the members of the public and to also expand in our own areas of operation and security operative, where we are looking forward to the additional strength in fast tracking such type of criminal activities, in preventing their logistics suppliers and blocking their routes of movement. We've been doing that is for us to strengthen it and try to see that we do not give them a breathing space to have the opportunity to coordinate any other of this attack. So the roadmap that we'll be looking up to with the community is having a framework of where every enablers will come together and let's see on how we will jointly and uniformly fight out this insurgency. Clearly, I would like to state to you that from what I have perceived from my own point of view is that we are coming to the end of this insurgency here in Borno State entirely. So these are phases that may come up. We know perfection is not an attribute of a man, and generally we will try and see on how much we could strengthen our modus of operation through community policing engagement and liaising with the members of the public, like the VSOs I mentioned and other hybrid security forces.
All right. About the repentant Boko Haram fighters, we know that they are usually traumatized. Do you have any psychosocial intervention for them to fit into the society?
Clearly enough, I may not really be in the right position to speak on that much, but I will share my little knowledge of what I had from it. The initiative of the state government with the 25 years development plan, 10 years strategic and transformation plan, where the Borno model also falls into. So there have been interventions too by the international communities in radicalizing, like I earlier stated, to see that there are psychosocial support. Well, we see that these insurgents, when they have been reintegrated back to the community, they become useful to the community. And they also assist to when it comes to our frontline operations, as they have the experiences of being in most of all these locations. They help in fast tracking, and they've been very commendable and assistant to the security forces. So other psychosocial support are from the interventions that we've had from different various agencies and organizations, both local and international.
All right. Now, the number of persons or individuals that we are used to carry out this particular act, we are all female. Why is that so? Could they be perceived because of their attire or the nature of dressing? Why is it just the women or the girls alone that was used to carry out this single act?
I will share my own point of view as a security operative to say that majority of these women and ladies that were used, it's the mode of dressing may also contribute, where they tend to conceal such type of gadget, or will I say explosive, in their clothes, their dress particularly. Secondly, again, things like this due to I don't know, I would say likely say many of them may have been drugged or injected with various intoxicants. And thirdly, again, I would likely say that having a woman approaching you acting is looks much less suspicious than having a man approaching a group of crowd of person. One of the suicide bomber who exploded the explosive report shows that she is in possession of a baby, and this is likely looking like a mother that she has a baby behind her. So most of your mind will not draw to this attention. It is just a means of diversion of using the soft spots, which are mostly women, to perpetrate such type of criminal activities. So it's quite unfortunate that it had happened in that way. But it also calls for, like I stated, a clarion call to call on expanding our modes of operations and identifying the most vulnerable people that we likely perceive to might be used as tools and vessels in committing such type of atrocities.
All right, I heard you clearly made mention the mode of the female dressing, and like religious cause, what that will always remain their mode of dressing. How do you think that can be further stopped? Because obviously you can't tell the female among the Muslim not to dress that certain way or that particular way. What do you think, or what way do you think the mode of dressing can be more traced to prevent such from happening further?
I wouldn't want to rely on the mode of dressing to become the lying factor to contribute more on that. With the tactical and sophisticated gadgets that we are expecting to augment the current one that we are having on ground, will assist in tracing and tracking these explosive improvised explosive devices, which are likely used by these suicide bombers or any perpetrator, particularly. So it is what is it is capacitated to scan through for some particular radius or some range to scan through. So we will be relying on that. And also other human intelligence. We don't want to wait for these things to come anymore to happen again. We want to take proactive measures, dominating the community, and as they have
Let us know
announced
one
their
of the
presence, we
proactive measure
also
or the proactive measures you intend to take. Let us know about it.
first of all, the first reactive measure we took, like stated by the theater of operation, is to impose a curfew over there in Gwoza entirely to prevent such occurrence happening once again. And proactive measures are reaching out to community. I structured more on the community policing, where earlier stated that we expose the evildoers in our society, partner with community stakeholders, the heads and other VSOs and security agencies, so that they could give us timely information. The best way of addressing such type of encounter insurgency is to get feed of information and work on credible intelligence. So this
All
is
right.
our major gain that we are counting as proactive measures.
All right. Oh, we are out of time, but before we go, let me say this. It's been 15 years of insurgents in Borno State. Let me get your thoughts on what the security body is doing or has been doing so far. Do you think that the security body has been doing enough? If so, what is your thoughts on eradicating Boko Haram and insurgency in Borno State particularly? We know the cases of the insecurity issue in the northern part, but particularly Borno State. What is your thought on eradicating Boko Haram and insurgents entirely in the state?
Well, it's a process. It's a process. It has different stages of this process. So what we are currently facing is another stage of the process where we tend to predictable. We tend to imagine that such type of things may occur to trying to embarrass and relinquish every effort that we've had in place. So, but our gain right now is in eradicating Boko Haram entirely from the northeast region and Nigeria entirely, is to continue to strengthen with the workload that we have so far like this. The non-kinetic method of the Borno model is the clear approach which has recorded lots of successes. You can imagine Boko Haram terrorists who are surrendering back to security agency without firing a single shot. That is really a very commendable plus, and the MNJTF, Multinational Joint Task Force, who have been recording successes with the ground troops giving them firepower from the down, and the Air Force also supporting from the sky too. It is very commendable, and I would say this we are going to greater heights of ending Boko Haram entirely in the northeast region and Nigeria entirely.
All right, and now in that regard, some persons are of the opinion that some set of the Boko Haram, or listening to one of the national Christian somebody on in an interview, say that this category of Boko Haram are of three categories, some, and that the one that terrorizes the peace of the people are mostly the ones being sponsored by politicians and some certain elites. How true is that?
I don't have any comment to that, and I don't have any thoughts towards that.
All right. Thank you so much, Nahum and Kenneth, Daso, for joining us this afternoon. We really do appreciate your contribution and your opinion. Thank you very much, and do have a great day. All right, up next, political